MailChimp, you can design beautiful
Hey, what is going on, everyone? It's time for the RGH podcast. I got my boy, True Vanguard. I got my boy, Cactus HD. And we got some juicy topics today. Really juicy topics today. We're going to be talking about Halo Infinite. We're going to talk about Destiny 2 because they are making huge changes to the game. Bobby Kotick and the Activision idiots going strong.
They double down.
Yeah. Battlefield getting review bombed continually, and then Steam versus Epic. The battle is not even close, and we'll get into that later. Like it's not even.
This is I told them this news story, and both of them were like, "What?"
Yeah.
They're like, no. I was like, I'll read it again. You know what I mean? Like this is wild stuff.
Yeah, it's good. So let's just jump in with the Destiny stuff because there is a lot there and we want to bang out all these topics. But the Destiny stuff, it had me excited. It had me very, very excited. I saw, everyone kind of hyped up about it. I clicked on the Bungie weekly update. I started reading. I realized I was scrolling for like 20 minutes because it was such a big post. All the balance changes, some of the philosophy behind it. It was huge. Truly huge. If you haven't done it already,
wild.
go to Bungie and you can just go to their Bungie weekly update. I'll see if I can find it.
Or actually, before you do that, Tash, I got something else you could link. Maybe there's someone here at this podcast who did a complete video breakdown of all this stuff, and it has a convenient video that you can watch while you're eating, while you're gaming, while you're doing whatever.
I'll post
right?
a link. I'll post a link instead.
Oh my god.
Post the one to my video.
Toxic, bro.
But yeah,
or True Vanguard's video,
I was
too.
gonna say, I did one too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, true.
yeah, his was like 50 minutes long. That was almost as long as your intro.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Come on. Hey, I'm the one here. I just pinged my entire Discord trying to get people in here. So, hey, another person with no life and other people from that Discord, shout out to you guys. You guys are the best because we need to support RGH Gaming. We're the best damn gaming podcast out there.
Nice.
For the people who know about us, but we need people to know about us. So the guys who show up, you guys who tell your friends about us, you guys are the best. Okay,
I just got a text. You know who else is in the audience?
Ooh.
I'm gonna call him out now. DMG. See you up in
Oh,
He's in
there.
here?
Good to brother.
BS, dude. It's DMG. It's a DMG fan account. You just got baited on Twitter. Now let's talk about this Destiny update because it was wild, and I think the biggest thing, like something that even I maybe misunderstood, didn't grasp right away, is like you kind of read it and you're like, oh, they're dialing down abilities, and they are, in the sense that like they kind of said there's too much ability spam, and therefore I think the result of most of these changes together will be less ability spam, and it's just in general, right? However, it's like not all nerfs. One of the interesting things is that some abilities are actually getting faster recharged. Some abilities you're going to get to spam more, but those abilities are getting nerfs in terms of like damage. So I think the example they gave was what's the Warlock grenade that just like hits you with
Firebolt.
Firebolt. The Firebolt grenade,
they're going down to a 45-second cooldown.
Exactly, but it does way less damage.
Yeah.
So it's like interesting, right?
Here's the thing. At the bottom line, the one thing, if I just sum it all up, it's all about this what they're calling their variable cooldown system. So basically, they've had this problem where ever since Destiny 1 came out, like every ability, every super, every grenade, every melee ability, they all have the same cooldown rate, but they're not all the same.
Nope.
And that's the problem, because some people are going to be like, why would I ever use this?
Yep.
When in the same amount of time, I could be using this, which is way better.
Yeah, like
and now they're just saying, well, let's just stop worrying about making everything the same and say, no, you're absolutely right. They are all different. But since this one's weaker, you get it faster. It's such a simple concept.
Like you have
huge.
metas. Yeah, remember when they made the magnetic grenades one-hit kill? And then everyone had to use them?
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, obviously, like why would I use a grenade that doesn't get a guaranteed kill when I have a grenade with tracking that can get a kill, right? And so it's like, okay, every grenade has the same cooldown, so the only way to distinguish them is now we have to nerf magnetic grenades. Whereas with this new system, you can make magnetic grenades, let's say, or like the sticky grenades, a one-hit kill, and if people like it's overpowered, then you specifically take those grenades and then give them more recharge, right? So, you want them? They're going to recharge in 2 minutes, right? Like, good luck. Or you can have the non-one-hit kill that recharges in 45 seconds.
Right.
Like, and now you have to actually think about it. And so this lays the groundwork for what you're saying, TV. The balancing going forward is going to be a lot easier for them to do because they can balance on an individual basis. They don't have to nerf all grenades. They don't have to, like, if a grenade, you can let a grenade be powerful and then compensate for that with a longer recharge rate. And
now you gotta wait a minute and a half. Yeah.
You could let a grenade be less powerful, like the flashbang grenades on a Titan. Like, who used those? Why would I flash an enemy? Well, Other than dads, bro, who use that? Why would I flash an enemy when I could kill them, right? Now it's like, oh, give them a much less charge time, and you've sweetened that deal substantially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, if you're... Oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, it's fine. I'll wait.
I already talked you up.
I mean, I just think back to Destiny 1 and like every single Titan on the lightning grenade and just yeeting that thing into a zone and getting like triple kills. And it's like, why wouldn't you use that grenade? And I look at Destiny 2 and then I look at my characters and I think I use the exact same grenade since the start on almost all of them. I don't think I've strayed.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't think I've ever used Axion Bolt. I don't think I've ever used I don't know if I've ever used skip grenade, or sorry, not skip grenade, flux grenade, on my arc strider, and now I might actually dabble with some of these things. So anything like that to spice it up, change up the meta, is cool with me. And also, I kind of like the idea of having, fast, quick to use grenades that I can get all the time, just to tag enemies or get them out of cover. And that's kind of my play style. Is like I like to duel with my weapon and then use that grenade to either zone you or finish you off from safety or whatever it might be. I don't need some big zoning area of effect lightning grenade if I can just do some quick, easy grenades that'll tag you. I like that a lot better. So it almost makes it feel like I can do a build specifically for me and my play style instead of just being forced into a specific grenade. But even the supers. Right. The supers are doing the same thing too. It's like, do you want to be the first person to pop the super in the game? Then maybe you want to play well. Maybe you want to be, more effective with the super and have more kill potential, but you're gonna have to wait longer, and that's pretty sweet too.
Yeah. So that's absolutely right. However, something to note is kind of like they're changing how you get supers. Because now the passive regen is slowing down substantially.
Right.
So the people in the back of the map, like, oh, when I get my super, you'll see.
It's all over for you guys.
It's all over for you. It's like, I get it, okay? You can't win a gunfight. You can just say that. You know what I mean? But those guys, they're in trouble now because now you have to deal damage and take damage to get the majority of your super. They will still be passive regen. So even if you are getting clapped, I mean, I guess you'll get the taking damage part of it, but you'll still passively get some regen, and that's what that tier list is about. Apparently, the tier list does not affect how much energy you get, like when you kill an opponent. It only affects the passiveness. So while you're right, Tash, like if me and you are getting the same amount of kills, and you have and I have a tier 1 slow Winter's Wrath, let's say, you'll get yours before mine, but you'll probably get way more kills than me. Right? So that means that maybe you can use a slower tier super and get it faster if you're popping off.
Do you have
not all
with your primary. With your primary.
Do you have a quick breakdown? Do you have a quick breakdown of like what was the passive rate? Like if I was tier 10 intellect, how quick would I get my super before versus now?
I don't know that. I don't know that. They didn't say that. They didn't reveal that.
Specify? Okay.
No, but they kind of said in 6v6 it should feel roughly the same. In 3v3, probably going to feel like less supers in total. So that's what they did say.
And it's so nice. They mentioned this too. They're trying to avoid that super o'clock, and I hate this time of every match where it's like 12 supers are up, and you're like, well, it's chaos, and I'm gonna die a bunch for the next minute and a half to 2 minutes of the match. It's just super, and then it subsides again. You know what I mean? So now it's gonna be like a trickle, a steady trickle, depending on what people are running. And like we mentioned, I thought it was a really cool idea that they said. Primary damage specifically is going to give you the most bang for your buck, the biggest returns on a supercharge rate.
Which W key warriors, man, they might have to change how they play. Like the shotgun is going to give you less super than a hand.
They're just going to switch to that. They're just going to switch to the GL SMG builds where they ape at you and just go blam and switch to the SMG and clean you up.
Well, the W key warriors are also losing one-shot shoulder. I've seen a lot of Titans very upset by that.
That's one thing I don't like.
I'm a little salty about that too, honestly, as a Titan main. We'll have to see how it goes. Like, I can see,
Question.
You...
Why would you ever shoulder charge then? because you're exposing yourself gun down, and you don't have something like the like the Sentinel where you're getting a shield or anything like you're getting no value then.
Yeah, I think what they said is that they've upped the potency of it, so it's like more reliable at tracking and stuff. So essentially, I think the plan is you dart in and then get a quick melee after, they're dead. So you get that initial first melee off like easily, and then with another pop or one shot with your hand cannon or whatever, they're dead. So
you're gonna travel farther and it's gonna have better tracking. So you're gonna hit people more with it. It's sus.
You know what the thing is though? If it is bad, they can buff it, and they can easily buff specific abilities. Like, okay, if you want a one-shot shoulder charge, we're giving it to the hammer strike, not the hammer strike, but like maybe it's hammer strike, the fire one, the solar one, right? That can one shot. Has a longer recharge, but it can one shot. Like go and do that now, right? Like they can change it individually on that level if it is too weak. And you got to remember something that I think people are forgetting when they're making like rage Reddit posts is like this is being designed so it can fit a totally different environment when year 5 launches, right? Now you're going to have that same layout as the darkness subclasses. So you're going to be able to say, I want this type of melee. Like you don't have to pick, bottom tree and you're stuck with a certain type of melee, right? You can say, no. I want this melee from top tree right now or whatever, right? Then I want this grenade, right? This exact grenade. Then I want these different augments that make my melee or make my grenade more powerful. You can like build craft way easier. So I think that's like a huge thing is like the shoulder charge thing might sound dumb now, but maybe there's an augment coming that's going to make it crack out of its mind, right? We don't know.
True. Because they're doing Void first, and then every new season, the next element, right? So it's going to be about 1 year, and everything will be revamped.
Yeah.
Or like half a year, or like 9 months, whatever you want to say.
And then once you have everything in their new slots, who's to say they don't add they could just add another augment or another fragment for like Arc gets a new augment, and then it's like the meta's on its head, right? Like that could be wild.
I am excited about Genshin again. I wish. Jesus Christ, I wish. I am actually excited about Destiny again. I don't know if I'm gonna play the anniversary stuff because, I mean, I guess the changes are happening, but I think I might skip because I got ditched by Glad and Frostbolt for the dungeon, and so now I don't have a dungeon team, and I'm like, well, then I'm not coming back.
Yeah,
and so because I
want someone who actually has played the game in the last 6 months.
Oh, Glad hasn't. He hasn't been playing.
True.
He's been playing other games.
True.
Too. They're playing with this guy named Chevy. I never heard of him before.
Never heard of him. Yeah,
he plays Final Fantasy.
He's not going anywhere.
But
he plays Final Fantasy. Oh my god.
I don't know. Like February, I'm getting hyped for it. I really want to try it out, and these balance changes, I think there's a lot of good stuff there. And honestly, like some of my big issues with the game, I hate dying to supers. And if people that run tier 10 intellect hiding at the back of the map get one less super each game, I'm vibing. And if I get one extra super because I'm slapping, I'm vibing. I love that. I love it. I really do enjoy primary gunfights. And I feel like all I get killed by is grenade launchers, fusion rifles, shotguns. And if people are more motivated to have their primary out, maybe that happens less. Like, we're going to have to see. But even just getting tagged with abilities, like, I just feel like there's always grenades and shurikens and different things that are hitting me. And I'm excited to just hopefully strafe around and shoot people because I've been playing Halo, and we'll get into that later, but it is very satisfying to me to just duel someone one-on-one, my gun skill, my movement, I win. It's that little hit of dopamine that I need. And every time it's an ability kill, I don't get it. I don't have any of that in my brain. So.
All this really just boils down to the fact that these changes are actually going to really change the Destiny experience down to its core, like down to its foundational level. So excited about it. It's going to be a new exploratory period.
Right.
Can I say, I don't understand the people who are like, they went too far. Like, this is BS. Like, now I can't get a kill with an ability. Like, I've seen some people being like mad, and obviously they're getting clowned on a bit. It's like, okay, you're gonna have to shoot in a first-person shooter. Like, I know what you said. They're like, well, I don't want to. I want to get kills with my grenades or whatever. It's like, the thing is, like, we need change every once in a while. Like, like I've seen a lot of hunters very salty about the dodge changes, and maybe Bungie went too far. Literally, like maybe this is an over nerf. Bungie has definitely openly admitted they've over nerfed stuff before, right? So
Yeah.
if it is, hopefully we can get it adjusted back up. But it's like you've had 3 years of dodging to win every single gunfight. Hunters, you're gonna actually have to try to win a gunfight without dodging once in a while now, and they're absolutely crying about it. It's like, listen. It changes good. Let's try new stuff. If it is too much, revert it, right? Or buff it by a little bit or go halfway. But you gotta change things up. You can't just have the same meta for 3 years in a row. Like it's just not fun.
Do you know what's one thing that I am noticing? I'm just looking at the tiers. Like Well of Radiance is the fastest, and then you've got Blade Barrage and Silence and Squall. Almost all of the roaming supers
Are the
highest. And thank God, I hate the roaming supers. It just feels like it's so constant. There's people roaming around, and because you can't shoddy melee them or like grenade hand cannon them down like you could in Destiny 1, they're just oppressive. They pop a super and they run at you, and there's so many situations where I go, all right, well, I'm dead.
I guess I'll die.
I don't even try to run because I know I can't run, or I know I can't kill them, and I just eat it. And I'm so happy that potentially
is anyone else
I die to less roamers.
A little salty that Silence and Squall is like second fastest tier, and somehow they're like that's a roaming super too. That shit roams around the map and follows me around. Let me tell you, like that. I saw that and I was like, whoa! Like I feel like that is a huge get.
Well, they're losing Shatter Dive, really, in its current form. So their neutral game's taking a real hit.
Is it though? They still have Touch of Winter that makes all the grenades cracked out of their mind. Like you have a dust field grenade with a radius the size of like a football stadium. It's absolutely wild.
All I know is it's going to be better than what we got now, so I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
True. I feel like there'll still be a lot of Revenant Hunters. Like trust me, they're just going to switch to Touch of Winter.
If you guys had to put your kind of top 3 supers, top 3 classes going into the new patch, what would your vote be? Who are you, like, what characters are you playing in PvP, Ryan?
Next season, moving forward?
Yeah.
So I think for Warlocks, you're looking at top 3. Dawnblade is still going to be king because of the neutral game. Icarus Dash, short Firebolts with the Firebolts on a shorter cooldown. Hunters no longer being able to break the tracking of a Firebolt by dodging. It's going to do 65 damage, and then you're going to do 2 shots with a 140 hand cannon, and they're going to be dead. So that's going to be I think that's going to be a pretty nice setup. So I think top 3 Dawnblade is going to be on top for Warlocks. I think Arc Striders are actually going to be on top. Again, I think we're going to go back to an Arc Strider meta, would be my guess for Hunters. And then for Titans, I'm actually thinking you might see more Bottom Tree Sunbreaker. And also, I guess if I had to pick, I think you're going to see more War to Dawn Sentinel. Because that Sentinel super is going to come up. They said tier that's tier 5, so it's going to be like with Well of Radiance. When they separate,
right?
Exactly.
In
Witch Queen,
yeah,
and that's going to be huge because getting to create orbs for your team and get mid map control on command before any others, because that's a big reason people don't run bubbles, is because other roaming supers just destroy them, and they laugh at bubbles like, "Ha, nice bubble, nerd." But now there's not going to be a roaming super to do anything about it. So I think you're going to see bubble.
That's fair. That is fair. Yeah, I don't know. And like even the exotics, like they're making quite a few changes to exotics, and it just feels like it's going to be a new game. And I am longing for a new experience in Destiny, whether it's the content, but even just the sandbox. Like I miss loving PvP, and right now I still am like pretty. I don't want to say resentful of PvP, but like as soon as Stasis happened, like that was a really tough time for me. I borderline hated the game when Stasis came out. Which is like, I don't want to be super negative, but like obviously I quit and I played Genshin and stuff, and it was really big on the channel, but I genuinely just didn't want to play either. I was looking for an out because I was so unhappy. And seeing the changes they've continued to make to Stasis, like they've nerfed it and changed it like 4 times. And now some of the other things that are annoying that are getting addressed, I'm happy. One of the only things that I pray they do, delete grenade launchers. Holy I can't handle those goddamn weapons. I just can't believe that they're in the game. I hate them. They're just so frustrating to me.
Honestly, they're great additions to PvE, and
Yes.
it made sense to move them because it made no sense to have breech-loaded and multi-shot grenade launchers both as heavy weapons when the game first came out. Like, it makes sense to move them to the special slot.
Right.
Just make them less lethal in PvP. Like, just make them do less damage in PvP. Like, to finish someone off or to start an engagement, maybe, but they shouldn't, like, almost kill you, right? Is the thing.
Yeah, they just annoy me. Is there any other major stuff you want to talk about?
Like, I think it should be similar to the Firebolt grenade, where it's like you get a grenade launcher and it does like 65 damage, then you can 2-tap, not a grenade launcher and then 1-tap people. Like, that's the issue.
Right. Fair. Yeah, it's like big area of effect kind of zoning tool, but it can't hit hard as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see that. Any other major stuff you want to talk about from the kind of the balance changes?
Nah, I think we're good.
Okay.
Super excited, dude. Honestly, like great. I think good changes all around, and just like again, like if you're mad about your favorite ability getting nerfed, it's like it's setting up the framework for all these future things. Like it's going now. We're gonna be able to have these variable cooldowns, and like you know, I really think you're gonna see like a more diverse meta moving forward.
Yeah, agreed. So let's move on to Activision because they released another statement today. And they're like, oh, by the way, we're doubling down, and we 100% stand. Yeah, we stand behind Bobby.
Bobby K, untouchable, baby.
Listen,
untouchable.
Bobby throws the best parties, so I stand Bobby. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah,
bizarre.
My man, Bobby, bro. This guy gets away with it all. Like Bobby, like this since I think we mentioned. Sony, the CEO of Sony was like, yo, like, we gotta maybe reevaluate our Activision relationship. And now Phil Spencer of Xbox has said the same thing.
Yeah.
So, PlayStation and Xbox are both like, we do not support Bobby. Bobby is not our boy. Like, this guy should resign. And Bobby's like, I ain't going nowhere, baby. I'm still here. And the board's like, that's our boy. I can't believe this, dude. I literally, like, any other company, this guy would be out in like 2 seconds.
He would have been out months ago.
Dude, like the CEO like sneezes, or there's like the tiniest bit of controversy, and they replace the CEO because they don't want the stock market to fall.
That's right.
I've never seen
a board stand behind.
I've never seen a response by this. Like honestly, CEOs have been ousted for like maybe even too early, in my opinion, in other circumstances, because like you know there's like a rumor or something that isn't really that bad, but just like some people think it might be bad. But like Bobby is like full negativity, and he's just not going anywhere.
And it's like, how many strippers did the board members bang behind their wives' back that he knows about?
Yeah,
or like some crazy dirt that they're like, nah, he's gonna do it. And the thing is like, I'm dedicated to fixing this, and you know, everyone believes, you know, everyone on the board believes in Bobby, that he's gonna come and have this righteous fix. He fostered the culture. He's been there for like 20 years. It's not like he's been there for a year and he's trying to turn the ship around. He built the ship. It's going with his gasoline, and like he started all of this. I can't fathom it. I can't understand it.
It is crazy. Like, yeah, you're right. It's like, I'm gonna fix this mess that I caused. I swear to you. It's like it is absolutely wild, and you wonder, like, especially with the new statement that they were standing by him came out yesterday. This is recent news, and you know, is something actually going to happen with Xbox and PlayStation? Are they going to pull Call of Duty? I mean,
can you imagine?
Dude, I mean, certainly everyone is making money. So I don't think they're going to pull Call of Duty. It would, and also it's like, again, it gets into that argument of like, who are you hurting more? Bobby, who's going to live the rest of his life in luxury, or the gamers, the devs who made the game, right?
And the gamers who are playing the game on that platform too. Like if PlayStation shuts it down on, it says we're not gonna, you know what I mean? Like they got to issue out all these refunds. They're letting their player base down, their fans down. Sucks.
Really quickly, Brandon Marble drops a $50 donation out of nowhere to us. Thank you so much. We appreciate it very, very much.
Good luck on the Adept Hothead. Hope you get Explosive Light Field Prep Gamer.
I just feel like also, though, if you're going to come out and like call out Activision and be like, we should reevaluate our relationship, it's like, put your money where your mouth is then. Like, if you're going to call us out like that, then do it. Then do it. Make them change. And then you look like a badass. You know, your company looks like a badass. Yeah, maybe you lose a couple of dollars here and there, but do it for the greater good. Do it for us.
The thing is, like, both of them would have to come. Like, let's say Phil Spencer and Xbox was like, you know what? We're pulling Call of Duty from the Xbox store until Bobby resigns. This is not appropriate. Like, this guy should not be in charge of this company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Bobby, being Bobby, right, is like, all right, we're PlayStation exclusive now. We don't need Xbox.
Right.
But then PlayStation would look so bad if they didn't follow suit.
Bad.
If they did not
all
follow
you need
suit,
is two Bobbies. Like, maybe the PlayStation guy is another Bobby, and we just got two. We ain't going nowhere, baby. And they're just, and like, you know what I mean? So I think if they both did it though, and we're like, it's only on PC, like console is the Call of Duty bread and butter. So if they both pulled it, it's over. Like, Bobby would be gone in a day. Right?
Yeah.
Because the stock price would tank.
It's already down a lot, but
yeah, it's down at not like, dude, like it goes down $1 and CEOs get ousted. I can't even like. Bobby is like, it is actually very bizarre. I've never seen anything like this, and it's like what? Yeah, where do we go from here? Like, I don't know. Like if just Bobby just decides never to leave, like, and the board is like,
Bobby, baby.
What? I've never seen it. Like, what happens? What happens now?
Does he like barricade himself in the office? He's like, no, I'm not leaving until you give me another 150 million.
Yeah. Remember from The Office when Michael Scott is like reading his he's like, it will take a SWAT team to get me out. And even then, like, even then, you know, like, that's Bobby reading that. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the board's like, not only are we gonna stand with Bobby, we're gonna give him a multi-million-dollar bonus just for the stress that he's had to endure this year.
Dude, like, what kind of like ritual Bohemian Grove sacrifice to Moloch, like, weird thing did Bobby and the board do behind, like, that he has on these people? Because he's
a Scientologist. That's what it is. They're all Scientologists or something, and they're protecting them. What? Tom Cruise has got a helicopter. They're meeting up. I don't know what it is.
What's more likely that is just that they have footage of these parties.
Probably.
That's the question.
That's probably
honestly.
What's going on there. So, dude,
yeah, Bobby's setting up these parties. He's got dirt on everybody that attended. He's like, hey man, I'm gonna make a tweet that says I'll step down if I need to, but you and I both know that's not gonna happen because if you guys tell me to step down, you know what I can tell them about you, right?
Yeah, blackmail them,
dude. It's wild. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Xbox and PlayStation are serious about like actually doing something to get him out of there. We'll see if he finally just breaks one day the price tanks too far. It's really interesting because it's not just a gaming thing. It's like, this is like an industry. Like, I've never seen anything like this before.
/ social experiment that we've never seen play out, you know?
But what happens if he does stay, though, and all the people who work for the company go, I'm finding a different company? What if Overwatch continues to be delayed? Diablo, Warcraft. They said people aren't even working on Warcraft right now. That's how many people are like protesting and like walked out. Warcraft isn't even being worked on because of all this. I don't know. It's just bizarre. It's like, yeah, that piece of trash is still in power. I'm not coming back. I'm just gonna fold all of my ideas, all this hard work. Like, good luck.
I wonder. I would say again, like, I think a boss move would be EA or Ubisoft saying, like, we'll hire people who are disgusted with Bobby Kotick, and they start poaching Activision people left and right.
Yeah.
Fair.
Whew.
Dude, the developer industry, this is one of the things I've learned over the course of my last, like, almost a decade now being immersed in this industry. The developers, not so much the publishers, Maybe I don't know.
Developers
I'm just more in tune with the developer side of things. They're pretty progressive folks. They really are. And so a situation like this where you're looking at specifically women who have been really preyed upon, I think that it really would not be a far stretch to see some of these developers start hiring people, specifically say, hey, we would be happy to try and get some talent from Activision and Blizzard, partially because we need to hire people, but also because we really want to help some of these people out. Like, it would be a win-win.
Yeah.
We'd really love to get them out of that and give them an opportunity to leave and feed their families.
Well, I would even, like, you say they're progressive folk, which I think, is probably true, but it's like, even the most, like, staunch Trump supporter would look at Activision and be like, bro, you should not be sending nude pictures of your, you know what I mean? Like, this is this is an issue pretty much across the spectrum where everyone's like, this is some really, like, unprofessional behavior. Like, how we were making fun of them early when this story first came up, but it's true. Like, how do you get stuff done? How do you, like, this is not fostering a good work environment. Like, how many good employees are disgusted by this, turned away, have bad experiences, all this crazy, horrible stuff that's happening. Again, the one poor woman that committed suicide because of all this stuff. And it's like, how you this is like the opposite of a good work environment. And another thing that I've learned about the developers is that they're pretty mobile. You'll actually see, I mean, you saw Bungie devs. There's Bungie devs that left Bungie, did something else, worked another project, and came right back with Bungie. Like, there seems to be not quite the, like, you work for us always.
It's a revolving door, yeah.
Yeah, people go around to different companies. So again, it's like, oh my goodness, man. Like, this is actually pretty, like, could we just see people have a mass exodus? And I think that's really, really possible.
Yeah. And I mean, there are some other smaller studios that are starting up, and like there's one with a bunch of the Warcraft people, and they're trying to make another new kind of MMO adventure game. There's not a lot of details on it, but it's like, what if these awesome developers go indie and they're making better games than the AAA devs? Why would you go back to Blizzard? If you've got a team that's essentially Blizzard without all the sexual harassment, maybe you can get a better game, sell that game. Getting it to market is tough, but anyways,
it's just like I just can't believe he's just like, I'm going nowhere, and the board's like, he's our guy. Where he's like, he's just not going anywhere. I just don't understand what happens next.
Yeah. Speaking of what happens next, Halo Infinite.
Oh, this is some drama, dude.
There's a lot of people angry about Halo Infinite again.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't see initially, there was some issues with the Battle Pass and how monotonous and almost impossible it was to level it up. And then they patched some stuff and they made it so you can get a little bit more progress from just playing games. But now the new event has launched and people are raging like all over the place on Reddit. I've seen a lot of posts on Twitter. People are saying that people are unhappy with the shop in game. They're saying that it's, super expensive. They think it's predatory. It is a free to play game though. And so it's like they need to monetize somehow, I suppose. Maybe not though, because they are selling, the campaign and everything and Forge and all that, but I don't know. I don't have any friends that are complaining. It's almost like I hear people are complaining through people. And I can see why the Battle Pass, that was busted. And it's a little bit better. But, like, for context, I'm level 5, I think, on the Battle Pass. And I have 23 hours played.
I'm higher than you.
if I was playing any other game, and like, I've only played ranked. So I don't have a lot of the quests done. Because, like, you can play Big Team Battle and all that stuff. But if I played any other shooter game, I'd be like level 40 on the Battle Pass after 23 hours. Like, your boy would be pretty far into it. And I'm level 5 out of, I think it's 100. I'm pretty sure it's 100. So at this rate, I'm going to take
sometime
a while.
Next year.
Right? I'm going to take a while.
That's right.
And then with the new event too, people are just saying super monotonous. It's just, they don't even want to grind it out, even though there's a cool skin that you can get and everything. But I'm not sure. Halo Infinite, it's had an interesting start. I see a lot of hype and people are like praising the game and love it. There's some people that are indifferent, but I think that it's some rose-colored glasses or something like that. It's like people miss.
Really?
I feel like people missed Halo and they're playing it and they're having a good time with their buddies. But here's my example.
take?
Here's my hot take. Remember when New World came out and how addicted everyone is, and they were playing every day, all day, and now no one talks about it, and like the player base is rapidly declining. None of my friends are playing it. I think it's the same thing. They're gonna play Halo. They're grinding it out for a couple weeks, and then they won't play it. I don't think it's a long-term, long-stay game, even though they're throwing money at esports. Because do you know what did Ninja play the day after Halo Infinite came out? One day after it came out, he was playing Fortnite again. Ninja, who built his career or started his career on Halo, he's been posting about how excited he is for Halo. He played it for one day for a couple of hours, and then he went back to Fortnite. And I mean, I'm sure he's played again, but none of the big guys are playing it long term. Doc's been playing it here and there, but I think they're just like buying time until the next Warzone update or Fortnite update because
Sure.
I don't know. I just don't think it's. I think it's dated.
I think fans of the arena shooter genre are gonna feel right at home there. Absolutely, it really is quite a nostalgic title. I think that credit to 343 where it's due. They delivered an arena shooter that's banging. I really think they did.
Yeah.
My problem is that I just don't think that holds my interest long term.
Yeah.
And I don't think that means it's a bad game. I just think that it doesn't hit me as its target audience. I think the arena shooter audience is gonna just freaking adore this game for a long time. As long as 343 continues to support it and respond to feedback, which they have already been doing. Some hit, some miss. As long as they continue to listen to the community, I think this game's gonna hit its intended audience for a long time. I just don't think that intended audience really is me anymore. I think I fell out of favor with the arena shooter genre a long time ago. And while I do still play, I played 2 hours of Halo last night before going to bed with some friends of mine. I'm still playing it. I just don't think it's going to be like a flagship game for me.
There's something you said. It's like they're going to have to support it. But that's kind of the issue here is like this first event ever for Halo. This is the first event we're doing, right? They got this sick like samurai armor. Everyone's like, oh, that looks dope. But then they have this horrible like progression system. Get a couple captures. I don't want to play capture the flag, right? I want to play team deathmatch or whatever. So you're forcing me to do something I don't want to do because I want this armor. That's not so bad. But then it's like, oh, get a kill with a certain weapon. I hate that weapon. I don't want to get kills with this weapon or use this certain ability or whatever. And now it's like, from what I've heard, it's like you see people camping in the back of the map trying to get this ability or trying to get this like vehicle or do whatever to get like these things completed. And it's like they're not having fun. Mm-hmm. Their team is not having fun because they one man down trying to get this stupid challenge done. And you can only make a small amount of progress per week. You can't even like grind and get it like the first week, which is like I know that's something that Destiny is actively trying to prevent, but it's like you got to give grinders a chance to grind because you grinders get everything done in the first few days and they're like, I literally can't progress this further. Every hour I play is pointless now. I have to wait until next week. And that's a bad thing too. And it's one of those things where it's like the game came out, huge praise, people having fun. Why have this greedy system? Do they really need the extra bucks from like selling the like samurai sword thing that's $15? Why can't it be $5? Like seriously, why can't it be $5? You might even sell more that way. It's like, I don't know, it's just you just get to the like, do you really need that much? Like, is the head developer going to be by Bobby Kotick getting a $125 million bonus or whatever because they sold so many freaking samurai swords? I think SkillUp made a really good point and said like this should be a loss leader. Like, just make it generous, make it fun. What Halo is attracting people to the franchise. Halo's job is to make people buy Xboxes, not buy skins in the Halo store, right? Like, you got to think bigger picture here. So where like Destiny, I totally understand they can have a monetization system because they have so much of it more is free and all that stuff. And it's like, they're on their own. It's like Halo is backed up by Microsoft. And again, its purpose is to sell Microsoft products essentially. So it's like, I don't think you can like risk pissing off your community like this. It's just not worth the few extra dollars you're going to make from microtransactions.
I also wonder, like, there's got to be some sort of algorithm for.
Can I say really quick? Someone said, like, oh, Valorant's knife skins can be $50, right? That's not the point. Like, this isn't Valorant, right? There isn't the Valorant box. There's the Xbox, and the Xbox and Halo are linked. And Valorant isn't they're not trying to sell a certain thing. I think that's the important thing to consider. Like, the success of Halo is directly tied to the success of Xbox and vice versa. So that's my point here.
The thing is like, there's got to be some sort of algorithm where they're min-maxing the cost of those microtransactions.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but is it somewhat out to lunch for some companies, or like maybe they don't do enough research on it? Because there has to be some people that won't buy it just out of spite. And I'll give you one quick example. I was at Joey Restaurant here in Edmonton. We're flipping through the menu, and then I saw garlic shrimp skewer. And it was like $12. And I was like, how many shrimp are on this skewer? Are these jumbo shrimp? I'm wondering how much food is on this skewer. And I was looking at the price tag, and I'm wondering how many people look at those $12 jumbo shrimp and they go, I'm not spending $12 on jumbo shrimp. But if it was
just shrimp, not even jumbo shrimp.
But if it was $6, they would have just bought it. And like, obviously it's like, well, if more people are buying the shrimp, they got to stock more. But like, obviously there's a lot that goes into it. But how many people look at a skin, and if it was $4.99, they'd go, I'll buy it. But then they see it's $15 and they go, screw it, never. I'm not touching it. I don't know. Mm-hmm. They probably have the math figured out. They realize, well, we sell enough to those whales that will spend the $15. We don't care about the other ones. But there's got to be a lot of people that drop out and don't spend the money because of the obscene prices on a lot of these things. And you know, the other thing too is, like, someone made a comment about Fortnite skins. If you compare the Raven skin, you know, it's got like all these particle effects, all this stuff, compared to a little sword dangling off your side, it's not really the same thing if you look at like base model to what you're getting. If you look at some of the League of Legends skins and the base model and then some of the other skins, they're insane. They've got all
immediately
new
recognizable,
voice animations. Like, if I don't know if you guys play League of Legends at all, but Master Yi is this guy with a sword. And then they've got these like cybernetic skins, and he's got like a freaking, you know, electric edge, really cool. He's got like a visor, all these different like every single animation in the game had to be remade for his attacks. And it's like, bro, he looks like a completely new character now. I'll pay $10 for that. A sword dangling from my side, not so much.
Yeah,
100%.
And I think we talked about this on the last show. I was really underwhelmed with some of the effects, like. There's the fire effect in the battle pass. If you get towards the end, you get like this.
I saw that recently.
Fire. Did you look at it?
It's cringe. It's cringe.
It's so bad. It just doesn't look good.
Blocked off around. It's like clearly they have like these parameters. They just make shoulders and they just let it extend. It just looks like it's like blocked off.
It's somewhere. Really odd looking, isn't it? Like I think of
a fire effect.
Because I think of I go back to Reach. You know, back when Bungie did Reach. They had effects like Pestilence and Tempest, and I remember those effects on your Spartan in PvP, and they looked really good and immediately recognizable.
Yep.
I think those in Reach look better than that fire effect. I was kind of bummed out. I was like, man, what? Because I bought the battle pass. I'm working my way through it with my buddies over time, and I'm like, when I get to that, I don't know that I'm even gonna like equip it because it just looks so weird.
Yeah.
What was the armor effect called in Halo Reach? Storm? Inclement weather.
Inclement weather. Inclement weather and pestilence. Yeah.
Inclement weather. I just want to Google it. I'm gonna get a picture, and I'll post it in the chat if you guys want to just click on it.
Yeah, like, I don't know. This whole thing, again, it's like one of those things where it's like, your game just came out. This is the first event. Why be greedy? Like, why go for the $15 samurai sword? Make it $5. Then, because here's the thing. Yes, you might make more money, but guess what? If you made $4.99 samurai sword attachments, every news article would be talking about how cheap the microtransactions are.
Look at that thing. Gorgeous. Like, that's a nice looking armor set. And that's back in Halo Reach.
Dude,
that's back in Halo Reach. and that thing looks amazing.
Well, and I just compare apples to apples. I know I'm a bit of an Apex fanboy, admittedly, but I think of like skins that Apex releases every season, and they look so good. Just completely change the way the character looks and feels, their whole vibe. And I compare that to what I'm seeing with the Battle Pass from Halo. I really do think that the core gameplay is really good. They freaking nailed it, but they really did drop the ball on these cosmetics. Just not just in pricing, but also in what they deliver. The samurai armor does look pretty cool. I will give them that. But some of those effects just look. Oof.
Do you know what's a good example of that too? Because actually, I've been playing a little bit of Apex recently. There's a bunch of skins in Apex that every single character has essentially the same version of it, and it sends. There's like red arrows that go down your body, or there's green ones. They're just like these like color particle effects, and they're very simple. They work on every skin. Halo doesn't really have anything like that. Nothing that sets you apart. No Tron, coloring or anything like that.
Sure, they'll get some.
It's so
in the future,
basic.
yeah.
It's like now I can paint my armor a different color. It doesn't look that much cooler. I don't know. I feel like in 2021, they got to step it up a little bit if they want to sell microtransactions, because changing your armor color is like, that's fine. That's cool. But you want some particle effects, some cool things going on. Like the fire steps, that one is pretty sweet. When you run around, it like leaves like a trail of fire behind you. That's pretty cool. I'll take that. But
great way to find where people have gone, though. That's tactically a bad idea.
Yeah, I'll take it. You know what? Track me down and good luck beating me in a fight. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of another game that recently came out that's getting some backlash, we got Battlefield 2042. Now, Mike, I don't think you're playing. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you're playing 2042.
2 matches, and then I deleted.
I am playing daily. I play it daily. I'm addicted to it.
Point, yeah.
I love the game, but that doesn't mean I'm blind to its issues. The community also is not. It got review bombed like crazy.
It is
last week.
Among the 10 worst rated games on Steam right now. That's pretty serious. And a lot of it's rage. Like, think about, is Battlefield 2042 really one of the 10 worst games of all time? Like, obviously there's games on Steam that are worse than Battlefield. Like, obviously. But it's like people taking out their frustrations on the game.
Yeah. Well, so the bad news is the game launched... I mean, admittedly, I'm a big fan of the game, but I will say it launched too early. It was not ready yet.
And everyone told them to delay.
Yeah, so many bugs and glitches that, I mean, sometimes you load into a game and you can't even deploy, so you're like, I guess I'll leave. Other times you load into a game and you die, and then your character's stuck in a down position, like, help, 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 but you can't get revived, and you can't redeploy, so you just have to leave the game. Sometimes you'll be running around and you'll just fall through the map and you're under the map like, what? I guess I live here now, and you have to leave the game. Like, there's a ton of bugs.
I have a friend that gets a server error every time he opens the game. He literally can't play. He played with us like for several days, couldn't play, got to play for a 2-hour window, can't play now again for like days. It's just like, he can't play.
So
I don't know why.
It's stuff that's like, it's no brainer. Like, yeah, they knew this stuff was there and they chose to ship it anyways. There's absolutely no way they were unaware of those issues. So they just chose to ship it regardless. And that was a mistake. Now they do have a patch coming out tomorrow, and then in 2.5 weeks there's another patch, and these 2 patches are designed to address the biggest bugs and glitches in the game right now. So hopefully we'll then get to a point where the game is at least stable enough that we can start thinking about the future of the game, and the community can work alongside the developers to say, here's the kind of things that we want. Because there's other stuff too, like simple balancing, where the places where, I'm sure you've experienced this too. There's a game mode called Breakthrough, and a couple of the maps, it's unwinnable. You literally can't win the game if you're on offense, because the last
tower.
capture point is on top of a skyscraper, and you can only go through these elevators, and when the door opens, they have literally airdropped a tank, and they're just like...
Yeah, to win this breakout game, you have to capture a point on top of a skyscraper. The only way to the enemy team is spawning on top of the skyscraper. The only way to get up is to go up these little elevators. So people just camp the elevators. So you go up the elevator and the doors open and you just get gunned down immediately.
Firing squad.
People airdrop tanks. So there's tanks looking at these doors. As soon as the doors open, the tanks shoot
on top of the skyscraper.
It's just a meat grinder. And the only other way to get up is to
fly a helicopter.
Fly a helicopter and then drop, but people just see your little parachute pathetically coming down. They just gun you down. It's like it is impossible to catch these points.
I've probably got I'm not gonna lie to you. I probably have over 100 hours in this game already because I'm addicted to it. I've never seen a match win.
Yeah.
Under those circumstances for the team on offense. Never.
Yeah. Like,
it's
unwinnable. You have the
unwinnable.
most goated pilots of all time, like that have like a $4,000 like joystick setup. You're not gonna win that.
No.
Are you frustrated with? I mean, I know Cacus, you were super pumped for the game. Are you like frustrated?
Because it's like the game's fun. Like when you actually play it, it's pretty darn. There's a lot of fun to be had. But for me, it's like, dude, now I got like one less person I can play with because his game glitches up every time he opens it and stuff like that. It's like, why? Why can't I just want to play the game. I just want to play the game normally, right? And that's the biggest issue. It's like there's a lot of these glitches, and that's the frustrating thing. It's like, dude, why couldn't they delay it? Why couldn't they delay it till January? Like,
that's right. Because as soon as they fix that stuff, the game's really good.
Exactly.
It's a really good game, and Portal is freaking great. And Hazard Zone has a community that's already like really freaking loving it. Like, it's a good game, but you just gotta make sure that it works properly. That's it. That's all I want.
I want someone like really smart from one of these companies or like a similar company who does a breakdown of like, here was what the projected sales were of the game and what they thought internally, and here's what it actually did. And it's like, oh, they were projected at like 75 million copies sold and they only sold 21 million or something like that. And it's just like, this is what happens when you don't release early. Just to prove it. Just to prove the fact and maybe get people thinking. Because like, even if they fix it, after playing my first 2 matches, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to play this game. Like, I'm so turned off already. I got the game for free, and I might not try the game again. I get so turned off so quick, and I'm wondering if it's just because I'm, like, jaded as a gamer, or, like, I expect, like, a better quality game or something like that. But there's so many games that I skip out on. But then, even if they fix it, it's, like, out of spite. I refuse to go back. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
You had my attention, and you're not getting it again. I've been hurt. And I'm not getting hurt again.
There's certainly a lot of that, but you know what's interesting is like Russian Badger put out a video, just dicking around in the beta actually, because it takes him so long to make videos. That's not hate, just observation. And he's like, I don't care about the negativity. He's like, this game, he's like, if it's not a botched, buggy launch, he's like, is it even a Battlefield game? And you're like, huh, honestly, good point. And he's just like, dicking around and laughing at the glitches and just like having fun. It's like, if you don't take it seriously, you know, we're looking at it from the lens of like a competitive, has to be good shooter. But if you just go in there to jump around and parachute down and throw C4 at people, and you don't care if you ended like 5-20 and you're just having fun, then it's like that. And a lot of Battlefield players are like that. Then you don't care that much, right?
Fair.
So it's like an interesting perspective. It's like, you know, we're right that this game maybe shouldn't have launched, but the people just dicking around in Portal and just doing all this crazy Battlefield stuff that like think the glitches are funny, they don't care, right? And it's one of the most played games right now, despite it being ranked so terribly. So like,
I play it all the time, and
I know.
the team chat is always people crapping on the game. And everyone's always like, but you're here. You're still playing. And they're like, I know, I'm having fun, but the game's busted. It's just so funny to me. Because that's where everyone is. I think, I'm addicted to the game because the core experience is really freaking fun. Just real freaking fun. But it doesn't make me blind to the issues. And I think we're all just kind of frustrated. We really wish they would have shipped a product that was complete. And it'll get there. I think, honestly, by the end of the month, probably halfway through December, it's going to be in a pretty stable state, you know, gameplay-wise. but we do got some forward progress to make. And allegedly, and Cactus, you were talking about this before we even went live. Leaks are suggesting that we're going to get a new specialist, several new guns, a couple new vehicles, and new maps every season. Yep. Which isn't surprising. That's pretty in line with what we've seen from DICE in the past with the past releases. I remember Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. It's just a constant flow of new maps and new guns. So you're just constantly grinding and grinding and grinding. You're like, hey, new gun came out. This one really jives with me. Now you're unlocking your attachments. You're playing the new maps. You're trying to level up your efficiencies with the new vehicles and unlock their weapon systems and all that stuff. It's a fun grind.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get there.
Before we get on to the final topic, did you know that there's a massive sale going on right now at advanced.gg? Did you know you get an amazing little discount right now? Go to advanced.gg and you can use the discount code there. I think it's BF2021, Black Friday 2021, or use code RGH, whatever you want. You know, it's up to you.
Whatever you want.
But check it out, and thank you so much for helping pay for our editors. Advanced, we love you. Now, the final one. This is the shocker. Cactus, do you want to kick it off because you're the one that brought us the news?
It's a short story, but so interesting. There's this random little indie game called like Pixel Zoo or like Let's Go to the Zoo or something. Little game. But they had some support and they're just doing a breakdown. They're like, yeah, it was actually kind of an interesting breakdown. It's like, yeah, we sold 32,000 copies in the first week, and that's about $500,000 in revenue. We expect $700,000 in revenue in the first month. So this is the type of like support and content we're able to make with that and all this stuff, right? It was interesting. And someone asked, like, the game launched on Steam and Epic Games at the same time, and someone asked a question like, hey, what was like the breakdown of Steam versus Epic Games? Like, what do you sell on which? And the dev replied like 1%. And they're like, wait, 1% different? Or he's like, no, Epic Games was 1% of our sales. Steam was 99%. And it's like, oh my God.
Competitive market though.
That's insanity because it's like, why would you jump through all the hoops to go on Epic Games if
they're paying 1%. People? They're paying people out the butt to keep Epic Games going, and it's just like, why? I don't know. Like, is it worth the upkeep? All this stuff. It's just like such a like we knew Steam was more popular, but like that's pretty shocking to hear because of Epic Games pushes the Epic Games Store so much. I mean, they gave away Grand Theft Auto for free. They do everyone and their grandma downloaded it during that time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone has the Epic Games Store download. They just never open it up.
The most action I get from that app is all the pop-ups it gives me, and I'm just like really frustrated. Like, get off my screen. Go.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I wonder if it's like the algorithm on Steam, like that game launches, it gets a bunch of sales in the first day from like the hardcore fans, and then it pushes it like, hey, you liked Stardew Valley? Check this one out. And then they buy it too, and it, it kind of snowballs. Where Epic Games, it's just kind of like the homepage where it's like, do you want to buy Jedi Fallen Knight? Or like, I don't know I guess that's part of Origin, but
could be.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's like curated maybe as much as Steam. Steam knows kind of what I want. Whenever a new roguelike game comes out, Steam is always shoving it in my face and like, hey, want to buy this one too? And then I buy it as well because they've
got it's true, they have a really good algorithm that kind of figures out what you're into, because I get that all the time. Like, me and my buddies, when I'm not streaming at night, we play a lot of like survival games. So it's like, you might like the game The Forest. And we're like, what's that? And then we played it and we're like, we're hooked. And we played it for months. And then it was like, hey, you might like this game Generation Z. And we were like, we do. You're right. Well,
it's interesting. Like, someone said, horrible example, guys. Bullshit story. We should cancel the stream. We said, horrible example. The game was placed on the front page of Steam. It's kind of our point, dude. Like, that's kind of the point we're making. It's like a little small indie game. Steam is still promoting that stuff. Was it placed on the front page of Epic too? Maybe, maybe not. If not, why not? Like, it's a new game.
And how did they ring it that they placed that in front of Skyrim or some other thing on Steam? Like, why this indie game on the front page of Steam. And was it on
Like,
the front
he
page?
might have only seen it because of it's his front page.
Yeah, is it
I
on
might not have seen
I've
it.
never seen it.
That's our entire point.
Also, not only that, but if Epic Launcher is such a good competitor and is worth investing in, don't you think the people who have a ton of expendable capital would invest in putting their game on that platform? Can you play Halo on Epic Launcher?
No.
What about the new Skyrim? You know, the remastered version of Skyrim.
You can
You
play
know what I'm saying?
Fortnite and
Fortnite?
Borderlands.
Like,
For
that's kind of my point.
I love Fortnite. I love Fortnite.
If they're worth the money, if that platform is so competitive, why didn't you see more? More people go there. I don't know. The people, especially the people who have a ton of expendable revenue.
It's just like interesting. It's just like, what can Epic Games do to attract more people? Because like, there's nothing wrong with having a comparative to Steam. The Steam servers are bull. The Steam servers shut down every hour. It feels like I'm playing Destiny. Steam servers are down. Restart your game. Restart the game. 10 minutes later, Steam servers are down. Like, so, like, there's certainly things that Epic could do better than Steam. It's just they just haven't quite found their niche yet, and it's just kind of an interesting thing because the dev was actually. The more interesting point was that the dev was asked, like, is it worth the upkeep? And he's kind of like, no, because they've got to, like, submit all their updates and keep the game updated on these different platforms. So it's more work for these devs. If they can focus on just one thing, Steam is easier for them. So that's something to consider as well.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Really quickly, I was just randomly looking at Steam charts. New World? 24-hour peak is down to 100,000 players.
Oof.
Or 117,000. Like, they were getting like 900,000 and even like 4, 5, 6, 700,000. Like, I mean, that's still a good amount of players. But
you can still sustain your company on 100,000.
Yeah, I mean,
players.
Destiny, for example, is at like 44,000 right now. So it's double Destiny. But I'm just surprised. I thought it might still be generating like, like 200,000 or 300,000 because it was so high. That's just really surprising. And I guess the reason why is because, like, when Destiny, it's only ever hit like 200,000 or 300,000 at peak ever, and New World was at 1 million, and so it's like, maybe it would trickle down slower, it'd have a lot of people, but that game is rapidly declining.
Yeah. All right, guys, it's time
After Dark.
Yeah,
for
RGH After Dark.
RGH After Dark. Essentially, we're gonna open up to you guys. Go ahead and ask us whatever questions, and we'll discuss them. Usually, it's just us ranting about True Vanguard's liquor consumption or some crap like that. By the way,
just drinking lemonade tonight. Lemonade
with anything else? Is it just lemonade?
It's just lemonade.
All right. But go ahead and ask your questions. Obviously, we give priority to our lovely members who support us. If you want to become a member, just click that join button, or Tash will put a link sometime.
Yeah, I just put it in there.
Perfect. And yeah, so let's get the first question. I think is just someone saying, why do games suck all of a sudden, or am I just getting old and looking at games of the youth with my rose-colored glasses? Well, it's interesting. I think, like, as a whole, maybe like games aren't necessarily worse, but they certainly have worse launches. And I think the reason is because, like, now devs will like launch it early and we'll fix it as we go, and we'll kind of pretend that these fixes are just like new features and new content, right? I mean, that's almost like Destiny is a little bit guilty of that as well. Whereas like when you launched Modern Warfare 2, that was the game. They didn't add any new weapons. The idea of like adding new weapons was like insane, right? So they just add map packs. Whereas now you add a Call of Duty with barely any weapons, and you just keep adding weapons in the new seasons. And because players are starved and want more weapons because there's so little weapons, they really like the seasons, right? Like, so I think it's a little bit of both, but certainly the launches of games I feel like have gotten rougher. It's just like become more acceptable to launch an unfinished product.
Yeah, and they just keep getting away with it, so they just keep on doing it, and they keep making millions of dollars, and the executives want the KPIs, and they just like their share price must go up. The quarterly financials must be there, post the game or nothing. Like, it just it's so corporate now. Like it truly is so corporate.
Yeah, it's too bad.
And a lot of the people, they're not in control. The devs aren't in control. They would delay it if they could, but corporate people make them post it.
There's some good questions in the chat. One of them asks, how's the new Outriders DLC? I haven't dived in yet, but I plan on it. I actually really loved my time with Outriders. But the early reports from some pretty credible sources are that it's pretty dope. Like, if you played Outriders...
weekend,
yeah, if you played Outriders... Maybe you didn't play Outriders. You think about hopping into it. Freaking do it. I actually thought the base game was really fun. I got a lot of time out of it until I get to the end of it, which is, that happens in games. But it was money well spent and time well spent.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I think the important thing is they've said we are not a live game. You're gonna play it, you're gonna have fun, then you're gonna be done with it, and that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not every game needs to maybe. Well, we just said that the bad launches, like every game that's had a bad launch is trying so hard to be a live service game, and they're almost like putting so many resources and planning out what's gonna come in seasons 1, 2, and 3, and 4. They don't put enough into the base game.
Yeah, that's right.
True.
The new transmog system is totally free and totally banging. Like, you literally, it's any piece of armor in the game, period, that you want to be wearing, freaking wear it. You know what I mean? Make your character look exactly the way you want them to. Imagine if, it'd be like this. It'd be like if Destiny launched and they're like, any piece of armor you've ever collected on any character can be an ornament at any time. So you can be on your Titan, and you can have your Titan have a worm husk helmet, the nothing manacles on, with the Starfire Protocol, transfer system, whatever you freaking want.
It'd be so beautiful, like truly.
Whatever you want.
100%.
Isn't Outriders free on Game Pass? I think.
Yep.
It's on Game Pass. Sure it is. I think it has been since day one, pretty much.
It was day one on console, and then later released on PC Game Pass.
Go ahead. What are your plans for the holidays? Anything?
Yeah, so Thanksgiving here in the States is tomorrow. So wife's family tomorrow. So be with my in-laws and brother and sister-in-law and all that business tomorrow. Kids will play. We'll eat a lot of food. I'll hate myself in the evening. It's great. Love it. And then for the weekend, headed down south to visit my folks and down in Indianapolis. Be good.
Great.
So I got a couple of cocktails. I'm bringing recipes down to make my dad, because...
Make you dad. You just make yourself one too at the same time, though, right?
Well, of course. But I'm also making the TV homemade caramel pecan pie to bring down.
Ooh. I haven't had a slice yet, but I would love to.
Come on down, my man.
See,
what would you do if we showed up?
We're not doing anything, so maybe we could. Like we don't have anything going on.
Hop on a plane,
if you guys showed up, I'd treat you well. I'd show you good hospitality.
But you'd be low key. We'd hear him and his wife like, "What? They actually came? Like, are you serious?
They actually showed up."
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't even warn us. They said, "Hey, we're gonna show up," and then they just did. Did you give out the address? I didn't. and how much pecan pie do they think we have? Jesus Christ. Let's see. Any other big juicy questions?
Some feedback about Outriders, saying like, yeah, Outriders is pretty good right now.
Chat, you gotta commit more to these questions. We live off the questions, because if not, it devolves. The chat, we become degenerates.
Here's a decent question that Cactus could probably speak to as well.
I'm ignoring it. Don't ask me Dustin's question. I saw it.
It was the question: what's a better game, Vanguard or Battlefield 2042?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I don't know. Battlefield has the funner, more crazy moments and stuff like that. Call of Duty substantially has the better gunplay and customization too. I'm kind of getting annoyed where like every single gun has the exact same silencer and all this stuff. I mean, they kind of do in Vanguard, but not. I don't know. In Battlefield, it's like you just get the same attachments, and also I don't like the attachments. So it's like, do you want sacrifice your stable accuracy and you get better move accuracy, or vice versa? It's like, I don't want either. I just want to improve my accuracy. The gun needs accuracy. Like I don't want to be punished for putting on attachments. I hate that.
Yeah, I think the question of what's a better game really does come down to player preference because honestly they're very, very different. They're very, very different. That's like saying what's better, McDonald's or Taco Bell. Be like, well, what are you in the mood for? That's the better question. So they're
a cheesy gordita crunch from Taco Bell.
Shouldn't say that. The answer is Taco Bell.
That's true.
We'll see. I have my final Taco Bell stream next month, and then we'll see if they bring me back or if I'm gone.
That's cool though. Cool that you had the opportunity to do that. But anyways, yeah, I think the games hit different audiences, or maybe not necessarily different audiences because you could be in both audiences. They hit different. I don't know. It's a different experience.
Arena shooter versus epic crazy battlefield moment. Get your gross foot out of here, Tash. Your gross with your ripped sock. What the hell is that?
So, for example, yesterday
Taco Bell sponsor you. You got Taco Bell money, and you can't even buy non-ripped socks, brother.
They just ripped. Like, just relax.
Why are you ripping your socks?
Well, because there's a big hole in it.
Oh my gosh, what is happening?
I was bored.
And chat gets concerned about me. They're like, is TV an alcoholic? Like, look at these guys. Okay, do you want to know why I have a drink on Wednesday night?
Yeah, this is why we don't drink as much as you, because look at us sober. We're already wild.
Yeah, so like yesterday I jumped out of a helicopter and pulled my parachute. I landed on top of an enemy dropship and covered it in C4, jumped off and blew it up, and then landed on a couple of guys and mowed them down with an SMG. That'll never happen in Call of Duty, but Call of Duty is a much more... Yeah?
For 2 seconds, I forgot we were talking about Battlefield. You're like, I jumped out of a helicopter, I was like...
Damn, dude.
Did you, bro? Yeah.
I was like, sheesh, I mean, people skydive. I was like, damn. The kayaking wasn't enough. Kayaking didn't give me the adrenaline
out of a helicopter and landed in my kayak.
Let's go.
Oh man.
Oh jeez.
SEAL Team 6, True Vanguard Edition.
That's right.
SEAL Team 36, True Vanguard Edition.
Well, I just heard my wife come in the door and she's got some food for me. So unless there's any burning questions, your boy needs to eat and then get back to gaming. You know what I'm saying?
I think we're good. Guys, thank you for tuning in.
Yep, appreciate it. This is a great episode, number 62. We do these episodes every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Wait, what time is that? 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's right.
Eastern. There you go.
That. 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing it next Wednesday as well. Hopefully we have some more juicy news and juicy topics for you. I'm MTashed.
I'm Cactus HD.
I'm True Vanguard.
And this was the Real Gamer Hour.